Hello and welcome to 14 going on 41. I'm Arvind, the 41 of this crazy duo, and joining me is my 14-year-old co-host, the lovely, trash-talking, Gen Z speaking, world schooling, ocean loving, now podcasting, Kiara Arana.
Hello, Arvind. Do you notice anything about my outfit today?
You're wearing sunglasses and a jacket for some strange reason. We're indoors.
Yeah, you wear sunglasses every single episode. What is your point?
One sec, is this some kind of an homage to my style?
I wouldn't really call it
It's an homage.
No. It's a mirror to show you how ridiculous you
Awesome.
look.
The word you're looking for is awesome, but thank you. I
Sure.
appreciate it. I
Sure.
need the glasses because you've got all these ring lights and fancy lights set up. It's too bright. I need
Makes
the
sense. Makes sense. Old people's eyes are very sensitive to light. So
Okay. I'm not sure where to go with that, but I will say you're dressed appropriately because the
Thank you.
glasses add a bit of glamour. And
Yeah.
today our guest is as glamorous as they come.
our guest today is Neha Chauhan, and I can't wait to have her come speak on the podcast. She grew up in Madhya Pradesh, but then she moved to Mumbai to be a film director, and then ended up acting in a bunch of movies. And most recently, she starred in a lot of web series like Maharani and like Rocket Boys.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it's funny, right? She came to be a director, she became an actress, and
Yeah.
it's funny, maybe destiny and fate take you in certain directions. Do you believe in destiny, Kiara?
I believe that whatever happens for a reason.
I believe that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger.
Isn't it stronger?
It's actually a dialogue from a movie called The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger says that as the Joker. Iconic, best character ever. But movies is what we're going to spend a lot of time on because we're going to talk to Neha, who's been in them and then some.
Yeah, but before that, it's time for our
Gen Z word of the day.
That's right. Today's word is slay.
Slay?
Slay.
Slay is not a Gen Z word. I mean, Santa's been using a sleigh for so long. I mean, you can't co-opt Santa Claus as being Gen Z. In fact, he's probably a bit older than that.
Not that slay. SLAY slay.
SLAY. So why didn't you just say slay? Slay. Okay, I know slay. Growing up, I used to watch a show called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There was a metal band called Slayer. There was this biopic about an American president called Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. So,
Aren't biopics supposed to be about like life and two things?
yeah, are you saying Abraham Lincoln wasn't a vampire slayer? Anyway, slay. Slay literally means to kill. So slay is kill.
Sure. It does mean to kill, but in a Gen Z context, I don't think it means to like kill a person or, a living thing.
Okay.
Kill means like nailing it, like nailing a performance, nailing a scene.
Like a carpenter nails things onto a wall.
No, hopefully after a while, we'll be nailing it with this podcast as well. And that's called slaying.
Okay. So you're saying whenever Neha's on screen, she's slaying it.
She is slaying, yes.
Well, that's perfect because then we should just bring her on here and get her to speak. So
Yes.
after this, we'll be back with Neha Chauhan.
We're back, and to be honest, I'm a little bit starstruck right now because we have an actual actress on the podcast today.
We do. It's Neha Chauhan, who is super accomplished. You started off with Love Sex Aur Dhokha when you were discovered. You did Kutta Se. You've done several other movies across languages, which I've heard some cool tricks about how you pick up other languages. And more recently, Rocket Boys. That was an amazing show and you were great on it.
Thank you.
Maharani. And so much more. Shaitan Haveli, which is a very interesting take on Amazon. It's just, we're so lucky to have you here with us. Welcome, Neha.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here. Looking forward to the fun conversation that we all will have.
You are a very fun person, by the way, Neha. We've hung out outside of, even though she's a big actress, she hangs out with us mere mortals once in a while. And once you were out at dinner, if you remember.
Yeah.
And you laughed out so loud and so hard while you were eating food that some of us, i.e. me, had to get a wardrobe change because some of that food ended up on our t-shirts as as you laughed at the good jokes that I was making, by the way, Kiara.
Trust me, those were not one of his good jokes. One of the worst jokes that you might be cracking, and I might have just like reacted
I
on
believe
that. How bad can it get?
I'll take the pity laugh. It's okay. However it comes, laughter is the best medicine.
Hold up,
It is.
Arvind, you change your wardrobe? I've only seen you in this jacket.
This t-shirt is different inside. But when you own like one jacket and one pair of jeans, life is... Anyway, Neha.
We're here to talk about you. You've had such a unique journey. You grew up in Indore and then you came to Mumbai to chase films, but not to actually act in them at first. And this podcast is all about the fork in the road moments, as we like to call it. So yeah, you've had a few of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, so growing up, my father, like in the back of my mind, he was always like, there was this voice that you should go into the Indian Administrative Services, like prepare for UPSC exam. So I was kind of, with the mindset, going ahead in my life that, that's what I want to eventually do.
So it wasn't acting growing up, it was UPSC exams.
Acting, I would have never even thought about it.
Sorry, directing.
Not even that.
Okay.
Not even that. But somewhere along the lines during my schooling years, me and my brother, we would have conversations around films and, I don't know where it started, but we would often talk about like when we would make films, we would make it in a certain way. I don't know how that started, that dialogue. So anyway, in my final schooling years, the idea from becoming an IAS officer transitioned to that maybe I will become an IAS officer and be in service for a few years and then quit and retire and then pursue filmmaking. But when I actually, when the time was actually to execute the plan, I thought it's not actually a good plan.
Why do most IAS officers not become film directors?
I mean, not that. If I eventually want to do something else in life, so why not just straight away start with that, right? So that's where I took the decision to, pursue filmmaking. Then I did a very brief filmmaking course. And that's how I ended up in Bombay. But acting happened on the way.
How did that happen actually? Because you were very much behind the scenes. You enjoyed your directing gigs. You were also involved in other behind the scenes pieces. You worked in various roles. And then you just got discovered in was it your brother's wedding video?
Yes, it was. So, I mean, immediately after my filmmaking course, I was in Indore. I was making some local commercials for local vendors in Indore.
Because you can't do those outdoors.
Sorry, indoors. One of his jokes. Okay. Then I made my move to Bombay and I was making documentaries and short films. And that's when I got a call from Dibakar Banerjee's office that he has seen me in some wedding video, happened to be my brother's wedding video. And they wanted to meet me and my brother, both of us. And they had a role that they wanted to offer to both of us. And me already being in filmmaking and wanted to pursue, filmmaking as a director. So I was like that I would go up and meet them and maybe convince them that they should hire me as an assistant and I would learn the ropes of filmmaking. So I go up for the meeting, they narrated the whole thing. And at the end of the meeting, I'm like, so can I apply for that assistant job? And they were like, we are offering you like a full-fledged role in a film. Like you would die for that. And it was just like 3 months into me moving to Bombay. So anyway, so I got hired as an assistant casting director on the film. And it took me like 3-4 months from there on to finally say yes to that role.
Did you have to like cast yourself? Like were you looking at yourself and like in a mirror auditioning for yourself and like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's bad.
So, there were a few actors who had come in for that role. And I really wanted one of those to be selected for that role because I really wanted this thing off my back that please do not try and convince me for this. Yeah, I finally also like gave a test just for fun. And then they managed to convince me. I said yes. And that's how it all started.
Wow.
And what did it take to go from, I feel like the persona of someone who prefers being behind the camera to someone who prefers being in front of the camera is often quite different, right? I've spoken to friends about this. We're like, I don't want to be anywhere in front of the camera. I don't like it. How did you figure out or reconcile being able to get comfortable with being seen and the fame that comes with it?
Fame is definitely, something that follows, right? If you do your work well. But being comfortable with the camera was already it was there. Because even as a director, you kind of learn that camera is your medium to tell a story. So you don't treat it as some second person. It's just there and you're telling a story, right? So that ease was already there, even if I was an actor or if I was a filmmaker. So, I mean, that hurdle was out of the window. But yeah, the transition from being seen in front of the camera, I mean, that was the inhibition, due to which, I mean, I was quite skeptical in taking it up. But finally, I said yes. And, yeah, so it wasn't that difficult, I would say. But yeah, once I started, I had to train myself. And it's just not that you go in front of the camera, say a few dialogues, and you're an actor. You have to train yourself. So yeah, then I took up training, and that's how, went on.
Were there ever moments where you were like ever starstruck by working with other really seasoned actors as well? Especially in the first few days or your first time acting?
So, I mean, my first project, we all were newcomers. So, I mean, there wasn't a question of being starstruck. But in my following projects, I would say I worked with a lot of experienced actors. You go with the mindset of learning. You don't go with the mindset of being a fan or, So, yeah. And you're also kind of focused on playing your character. So that's also on your mind. So, yeah, between both the things, I never recall a moment where I was like starstruck.
Was there one particular actor who you worked with and like, I can't believe I'm working with this person?
I actually don't recall a moment like that.
See, this is how she's not started, right? She's like, it's just another actor, it's just another professional. I can work with them. I can absolutely figure it out.
Quite honestly, that, yes. Not joking, but yes. I mean, not to be arrogant. I mean, you want to learn from people. It's just not from the experienced lot, also from newcomers. So as long as your mindset is that, I mean, all the noise is out of the window. So you don't really focus on that.
Speaking of the new lot, I really liked Rocket Boys. And I've told you this before, but there's one character that really stood out to me, right? And that's...
Which one?
The guy who is playing Homi Baba.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah. He's great.
Very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Just that performance and that entire piece. And then, I can see what you mean when you're talking about learning from someone who's not as experienced and relatively new. But just the way he portrayed that character with flair, I'm sure had a lot to...
I think he had a lot of years of theatre work. Wouldn't say inexperienced. I mean, he also come from experience. And I mean, they were other projects as well, like Ninja also, he was there. You might be knowing him through Rocket Boys because that was more like seen by Pan India. Yeah, but phenomenal actor. Yeah, also a great person to hang out with. Yeah.
You've talked about learning a lot. I think one of the cool things I heard from you is how you prepare for like regional language films. How do you actually learn? And look, even if it's dubbed, even if it's something, how are you actually learning you've done Tamil movies, you've done Telugu movies. You have a unique process for that, don't you?
So I had a lot of trial and errors. I mean, there were also times when I showed up on set and I didn't know how to say my lines because I would think that I have learned them, but when the moment comes to deliver them, you're just like, you forget one word and you forget everything else. So anyway, then I came about this unique way of learning my dialogues through, logography. I make logos and one logo might actually represent a whole set of words or a whole set of sentence. And so you would see my dialogue sheet as symbols and signs, no words written. So yeah.
Wow.
But just to give you an example, like if the sound of those words sounds to me something like, something similar to Hindi, then I would make a logo with that meaning in mind. I mean, I would, of course, know the meaning, what I'm saying in my Tamil language. But yeah, that's how. So my one symbol might be a person doing yoga or dancing and he holding some, yeah. So
that's pretty cool. Out of all your roles, which one do you feel like you relate to the most out of all the characters you played?
So I would say, all the roles that we play, there's a bit of us and there's a bit of the characters in us.
Yeah.
So we kind of build from there. But if I have to pick one character, it has to be the one that I played in Maharani. Because I feel that character, operates from behind the camera, has strategy and vision, and also has authority in her own unique way. So that's something that I relate to. I mean, you don't have to bow down to, to the more power, big wigs of politics, but I mean, you can hold your own ground and not let your own voice shrink. So that's something that I related to. And yeah.
Kalpana Kaur, right?
Yes.
That was a very cool role. I've seen Maharani, like I said, Rocket Boys, very cool shows. Moonwalk's the other one, right?
Yeah.
Which you've done recently. Is there anything you're working on right now?
Currently, no.
But as you think about, and let's just take a step back, right? This is all about those fork in the road moments. And your big fork in the road was, okay, UPSC to directing, then directing to acting. As you think ahead, is acting the path you see doing for a few more years? Are there other things you want to explore? Is directing something you want to get back to? Is there anything else as you just keep thinking about learning, not just about improving acting skills, but yourself and like what excites you going forward?
So I say, I mean, life is never like a linear straight journey. Like you are doing podcast now. Mm-hmm. Even I'm at a crossroads when I'm thinking whether to continue acting. I mean, that can always happen. You don't have to pick up every project that comes your way. Filmmaking, I'm not actively thinking about it, but there are other things that do cross my mind that maybe I should dabble into some product line or something of that sort. So I mean, those are ideas. Let's see, I mean, what I build upon and which one I choose.
Very excited to see how that goes, how that turns out. Yeah.
I think there's a lot that you can be doing. If just from my limited experience, what I've really enjoyed is your focus on creating great experiments with food.
Yeah.
Right? So when I've been over to Neha's place, I'll have like a roti, but what's it made of? Oh, it's made of some 25 different types of dal. Right? And there's no maida, there's nothing else. Then there's some ice cream, but would you make ice cream in a blender?
Right.
And it's like just with fruit and no sugar. Yeah. And so you've got like this tasty, new age, millennial, and we're both millennials, by the way, Kiara, type food. So I actually think like if that's an area you ever explore, I would pay for that.
So actually quite interesting now that you talk about food, I recall that even when I was in school, around 10th grade or something, it did cross my mind that whether should I just like be a chef, But then I also realized that it's something that interests me. I don't know if professionally I would be wanting to do it, facing the stressful bits of it. So, I mean, I didn't pay much heed to that thought.
There's no stress in being an actor.
I mean, of course. That was just the naive me thinking, not knowing much about what goes in and out.
Going back, it's actually something that I've heard Arvind say, I've heard Auntie Jigisha say as well, Arvind's wife. For
curiosity, I am now Arvind and not Uncle Arvind, but my wife is still Auntie Jigisha. Right? And so I'm wondering if after this is like Auntie Neha or Neha. So you need to figure it out. By the way, you look nothing like an auntie.
There comes a time in life when you realize that you have actually crossed to the other side and you're uncle.
No,
auntie.
No. I'm happy to say
So might as well make peace with that, right?
It's a little hard.
Basically what they had said, and they said it a few months ago, it's really got me thinking about how much when you watch films, it inspires you. When you were 14, was there any like film that you watched that was your favorite or that inspired you a lot?
Yeah, interesting question that you asked me that. Life is Beautiful. It was one film that really inspired me, that how throughout the film you're like, okay, this is a comical situation playing out. And when the film gets over and you're like, I mean, the heaviness of the whole situation, that dawns upon you. So that to be able to play that two opposite sides, that really intrigued me. And it has over years stayed one of my best time films.
I'm getting goosebumps as thinking back to that movie, right? And he won the Oscar that year, right? For Best Actor. And that was... Have you seen Life is Beautiful, Kiara?
I need to watch
it. I highly recommend it,
Yeah.
It's... maybe we can do it in the good old days segment, but it's this movie about the World War and how this kid is actually trying to survive through the World War, and his dad in a concentration camp is trying to gamify it so that the kid is not exposed to the horrors of war. And so it's a Holocaust story. It's a World War II story, but it's told in such a different way. It's we're around the same age then. Yeah, I'm a little bit older, so I must have seen it later. But
or maybe
maybe about 15 years older or something. But yeah, I remember being deeply impacted by that movie as well.
Yeah. So actually that film made me realize that, I have to be serious about filmmaking and I should pursue it and not go through the other route of being an IAS officer first and then going into filmmaking. So yeah.
Amazing. It's a great segue into us wondering, what if you had done some of those other pieces? So Kiara, you want to tee up our next segment?
So the next segment, we're going to be playing a game. We call it our 14 going on 41 what if game.
Okay.
And we'll explain it to you after we take a short break.
Okay. All right. Looking forward.
We're back and it's time to play the 14 going on 41 what if game.
The most important thing, I have to interrupt you there, Kiara, is we have now turned off the air conditioning. So Neha is not freezing right now in this room. And I'm able to survive with my jacket on.
You guys are wearing your jackets. Come on. Your cool jackets.
That's true. It's because it's literally the cool jackets because it's cold. It's like the South Pole in here, man. But anyway.
So to explain the game to you, Neha, we're going to be asking you, we're going to be going back to the fork in the road moments as we keep going back to on the podcast. And we're going to be asking you, if certain things had changed, how do you think your life would have turned out? What would you have changed? Things like that. Do you want to start us off with the first question?
Sure, why not? Thanks for putting me on the spot, Kiara. What if you actually went down that route that your dad's voice in your head kept telling you? What if you actually had given the UPSC exam and had gone down the IS officer route? Where do you think you'd be today?
I might be posted in some remote village, I think. Because, that's also one thing that kind of deterred me. I don't know how well found that belief or thought would be. That if you go on to do your job well, being an IS officer, there would be times that you would snub off people. And you often hear about them getting posted in some far off remote places. So I think I would be that person.
Then we wouldn't be doing this in person. This would probably be a remote recording.
Yeah.
I know we're playing the what if game. I have some what if questions. I just wanted to ask a question. How did your parents react when you told them you didn't want to be an IS officer anymore? And how did they react when you said you were going to be acting in a film?
So before that, I made the transition to filmmaking, right? Yeah. So, my parents, they have been someone that even though they wanted me to be an IS officer, but still they always showed that kind of faith and belief in me that if I have decided that it might be something that of value to me. So they didn't oppose it much. We had a conversation about it that why do you think this works for you now and that doesn't? And after that was done, there was all support throughout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to when you were a teenager, my what if question is, what if you were 14 years old? What advice would you give to your teenage self?
I actually have the other way around advice. I have an advice that my 14-year-old self would want to give my present self. Because I feel that at that age, we have unwavering belief in our dreams and we are hopeful and, a lot of courage. It's just that when we grow up along the way, we kind of get overwhelmed by the scope of things and that, inaction sets in, due to which, we kind of drift away from our dreams and our goals. So I think that would be something that I would like to tell my current self that, be that courageous one, have that hope and things will happen.
Oh, I love that answer actually. It reinforces to me why I actually enjoy doing this podcast with Kiara, because it's a 14-year-old who's got that, that optimism.
The world is your oyster and, anything is possible. It's only that we grow up and when we kind of second doubting ourselves.
What if you had never got discovered in that wedding video? How might life have played out differently?
I would be making films, still around films. Yeah. But it was also when I was doing my filmmaking course, I remember quite clearly that the coordinator there was quite hell-bent that I take part in the fashion show of the school.
Okay.
I want to be behind the camera. Why are you pushing me for the fashion show? So anyway,
I can tell you why, but...
no,
we won't turn this into a flattering segment again. But yeah.
No. But I think, I would have been making films. Yeah. So even after LSD, it wasn't like a smooth transition to acting. Because then I thought, Because as an actor, you're dependent on people to cast you, right? As a filmmaker, you just go out and make your own films. So you have that sense of control. And, to make the transition, I was just feeling that I'm not in control anymore. So it took me like a year and a half post LSD to finally surrender to acting. That's when then I started training myself. So it wasn't like an offer comes my way, I say yes, and I'm an actor the second day. No.
Someone wise once said it's not always linear.
Yeah. It's not.
What if you were 14-year-old? What if you were a 14-year-old today? And, with everything that's happening with social media, influencers, how do you think that might have impacted your dreams? What do you think you would have seen yourself doing and passionate about?
So, since filmmaking was already in the picture, so in today's time, I feel that the power lies with every one of us. We all have a platform. We all have a voice. And it's just not those few TV channels, right? So we can create our own platform and have that community and have that impact. So yeah, I would have been leveraging that. But having lived the time that I have lived, I kind of feel that I'm happy and comfortable in my old ways. Even while I'm saying this, we can do it even at like you're doing it, going on 41. So yeah, at any age you can do that. So yeah, today's time, you have a lot of opportunities and a lot of great platforms that you can leverage on.
But you've also lived that firsthand from the sense of TV shows to web series to just the evolving consumer preferences and how that's changed. Right?
Yeah, it has.
And so in all that world and with everything you've come across, maybe it's someone you've worked with, maybe it's not. But what if you could swap lives with any one actor for a week? Doesn't have to be forever, just a week. Who would it be and why?
So when you ask me that, there's no one name that comes to my mind. And it also, I kind of feel that my own journey and experiences have been unique and I love it for that, right?
It's too politically correct. You have to pick one.
If I have
you have to pick one. You can pick three.
I'm coming to that. But if I have to take one name, it has to be Meryl Streep because the range and the kind of depth she has shown in her, portrayal of characters, it's astonishing. It's kind of
that
like
is
that.
True.
Yeah.
If you have to pick someone, you pick the GOAT. She is.
Yeah, she's the GOAT. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you have any more what ifs for us, Kiara?
No, it's time to move on to our happiness rating game.
Oh, wow.
This is a fun game. I like talking about this.
You like talking in general.
That's might be true. It's why I'm on a podcast, dude. Should you talk, you get a podcast for some
And you
reason.
let other people talk, right?
Sometimes. I hope I'm letting you talk enough. Kiara keeps saying you don't let me talk enough, I think. But I try. Many times I'm kind of looking towards Kiara and say, hey, I kind of talk too much. But it's happening right now. So let me fast forward
Yeah,
this.
don't worry.
Thank you.
He learned.
Thank you. I need an actor to give me this confidence boost. So the happiness rating game is all about, and it's a topic I think about deeply. Especially more so now, right? What are the factors that give me happiness? What are the factors that give people happiness? And how do those factors go on to shape decisions in our lives? And so it's a very simple, we'll do a rapid fire, we'll pick 5, 6, 7 different parameters. You just have to rate from 1 to 5 of how important you believe these are to your happiness.
Okay.
So 1 is not that important to your happiness. 5 is actually, this is really important to my happiness.
Right.
Try not to make them all 5s.
Right.
And so try not to make them all 1s either.
Right.
I'll kick us off with the first. How important to your happiness is wealth?
Wealth. Okay. 3.
3.
Okay.
Fame.
1.
You're an actress who said 1, which is
Yeah.
impressive. And actually, I know you. I can believe that.
Yeah.
How about health?
Oh, 5. A solid 5.
Legacy.
Legacy. I've actually never thought about legacy. Maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't thought about it, it's still somewhere like fame was an easy 1. But
So
legacy-
I gave it 3 only from the perspective that the coming generations in my own family, I would want to be responsible to carry forward
Yeah.
the kind of upbringing, the good things that I've been taught, right? to be able to just pass them along, right? So yeah, legacy in that sense.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How about impact on others?
Oh, 5.
And fun. I mean, you've been a lot of fun.
10. 10.
It's a 5-point scale there, but I can see why you
The
said 10.
fun is just like,
I'll give you the last one. No pressure to answer it in any particular way, but friendships or connections?
friendship 5. Connections, you mean? I mean,
I'd say the same thing. Friendship
sums
slash
it all,
connection. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, it's been amazing having you here. It's
Thank
great to hear
you.
your priorities. You had fun right up there. You're killing it on that. You're
Thank you.
always a lot of fun.
Slaying. Slay.
Slay.
That's right. Good. Did you know what that word meant?
Slay, yeah. It's a Gen Z word, right?
Oh my God. Neha is like Neha is Gen Z.
Slay.
Yeah, you got to say it like that. You know, every time I think slay, I'm thinking like,
Slay,
Santa
slay,
Claus.
slay.
But no, again, I
You
think
learn.
we love the laughs. We love the stories. It's such an amazing journey that you've been on as you've crafted your own career with different forks in the road. It sounds like there may be another fork coming up at some point, whether it's sooner or later, I don't know. But we'd love to hear all about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
A pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, and such a bummer that it's coming to an end. I was enjoying it.
All good things come to an end.
Okay.
And on that note, thank you, Neha. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Thank you.
And we are back to wrap up, Kiara, on what was a very interesting episode. But before we get into our takeaways, it's time for that part of the show again.
Yay.
I love the fake excitement because it's time to relive the good old days.
In the good old days.
That tune is really growing on me, Kiara. So in the good old days, do you know how actors would show up for auditions? You know, they didn't have Zoom calls. They couldn't just audition remotely from anywhere.
There was
couldn't
no
just-
such thing as audition tapes, I'm assuming.
Well, there were a few things like audition tapes because you could record, but they were like VHS tapes.
Uh-huh.
But there was a lot of people would come with portfolios. People would have to create all of these shots together. They would have to create a set of shoots of them in different outfits, different shows, get that all the way across and send this entire portfolio across and then send whatever they could for their audition.
Interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have seen some of this actually on Friends. And what I think is so interesting is a lot of what you say on the good old days, I often relate it to things that I've seen from the oldish TV shows like Friends, or even connected it to Harry Potter. I don't know how old things are, but I do connect it to stuff I've seen on movies, films, stuff I've read about, and it fits in perfectly with the theme of today's episode, which was all about films.
That's right. And
Yeah.
it's funny when you say those are oldish shows because I still think of them as not that old. So maybe that's more a reflection on me. But since you did ask about audition tapes, Kiara, do you know what we used to do to watch stuff before cable TV? We would go to the local cassette store and we would actually rent cassettes and VHS tapes.
Die Hard.
Yes, stuff like that. Exactly.
But I mean, I've sort of, but what are exactly VHS tapes?
So VHS tapes are those old bulky tapes that you would put into a VCR, which is
I
a
don't
video
know what
cassette
VR
recorder player. Okay.
VCR?
So you'd put it into a device that could read stuff off the tape, and then visuals would appear on your TV and you'd watch it. And then you'd rent it out for like 7 days. You had to finish it and then you had to return. So it's like a library.
Yeah,
but with cassettes.
for movies.
And there's this entire business called Blockbuster that survived for a long time on the back of the rental business. And then Netflix used to kind of do CD rentals
Yeah.
when they
yeah,
started. But
yeah.
then they moved to OTT and streaming, and Blockbuster didn't because they didn't want to kill their core rental business. And lo and behold, they went out of business, and Netflix is doing all right, I think. So VHS tapes is how we did it back in the day.
How you guys watched old films.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. And I'm sure that's how Neha used to watch it in her
Mhm.
youth.
Mhm.
And that actually brings me to my takeaway for today's show, which is when we asked her a what if question,
Yeah.
and we said, "Oh, what if you could give some advice to your 14-year-old self or something like that?" She actually is the first person who said, actually, I would want that 14-year-old self to give me some advice, which is be bold, be courageous. The whole world is your oyster. You have no inhibitions. You dream big. You have all those perspectives. in your youth. And that really stuck with me from today's show, because it just says that you can learn from a 14-year-old, and we can learn some things from our 14-year-old selves as well, as young and immature as we may have been then. To just say, there is something about that kind of idealistic view of the world, which is nice to take forward.
I think it was such an interesting way of a guest responding to the what if game that we play, and especially that response. And my takeaway sort of connects to that, because you said 14-year-olds dream big, so she would want advice from her 14-year-old self. But I think my biggest takeaway from this episode was more about how we dream big, and that's amazing. Always dream big. I'm trying to dream big. But life doesn't always go towards the script that we think it will go, or that we plan for, And sometimes being open-minded to how things can change and how dreams can evolve can sometimes lead to an even bigger success. And, Neha has a successful acting career. It's something she may not have always imagined herself doing. But it's interesting to see how that things can evolve like that.
Yeah. It's those fork in the road moments, like we say. And it's just being open to different possibilities, see what comes your way, and then making sure you follow through on it. So that was really amazing. Yeah. I can't wait for next week when we're going to be speaking to another great guest. But is that all we have time for this week?
Yes. Until then, drive safe, on the road less travel.
Peace out, party people.
Bye.